Sri Sai Ram. Matangavadana Ananda Sadana Mahadeva Shiva Shambho Nandana Mahadeva Shiva Shambho Nandana Matangavadana Ananda Sadana Maya Vinashaka Mushakavahana Maya Vinashaka Mushakavahana Mata Maheshwari Bhavani Nandana Mahaganapate Mangal Charana Mahaganapate Mangala Charana Mahaganapate Mangala Charana. Om Sri Sai Ram. Once in a group interview, Swami told, somebody asked Swami, why do good people suffer? Swami said, good people suffer not because of their goodness, but because of their foolishness. Being good is not being foolish. Therefore, Swami always insists, first develop common sense, then aspire for divine sense. Though we all are equally and essentially divine, but that is our reality. We must know that reality and keep this reality at the back of our mind while performing our assigned role play as human. So many roles God has given us: father to son, son to father, boss to subordinate, subordinate to boss, even friend to friend and enemy to an enemy. We have to perform role play. Rama would not say, oh Ravana, you have taken my Sita, kidnapped my Sita, no problem, we all are divine. What difference does it make? You can keep her with you. Did he say like that? Can he say like that? No. Though Rama knew that he is divine, Ravana is divine, Ravana also knew that Rama is divine and I am divine. He was also Paramagyani. But both had to play their role play. At the same time, Rama would kill Ravana if required, but he would never hate Ravana. Be human, behave human. Hatred is not human quality, it is an animal quality. Fear is not human quality, it is an animal quality. Revenge is not human quality, it is an animal quality. Rama would kill, and he did kill Ravana. But not for a moment Rama would hate Ravana. That is being Rama, and that is being Rama Bhakta. You have to play your role play with all human qualities, with all human dignity. Because as Swami says, and I repeat often again and again, that we may claim or not claim to be anything, But we all are humans, nobody can deny this truth. Even our enemy is a human, so called enemy, though actually he is playing the role of being our enemy, as we are playing the role of being his enemy. We all are equally essentially divine. We all are playing the role of human being. Different situations, different relationship, different role play. We should keep the reality at the back of our mind and then perform. That gives us freedom to perform, because we know in our hearts of hearts, though I'm performing role of a beggar, I am not a beggar. So I will not get emotionally disturbed or attached to the role of beggar. I will adopt the posture, the body language. I will train myself to walk like a beggar, beg like a beggar, but I know in my heart that I am not a beggar. So that actually gives us the freedom to perform our best. At the same time, if we are asked to play the role of a king, the arrogance will not enter into our head just because we are wearing the dress of the king. Like that village person I told story. He got a role play to play a king for one day, but he got so much possessed by being the king because he saw his own friends in the village who would not even allow him to stand near them in actual situation, but they were playing the role of minister and his subjects, his ministers, his subjects in the drama which he was playing, his role play of being a king. Just because he had that height, that shoulders, that personality, he was a poor villager, so he was selected by the director from the crowd, because the actual hero had not come on that day. So it was just a good fortune that he played the role of king, but it went into his head. He got so much impressed by the dress, the costume, the crown, the necklace, and the respect which he was getting in the drama, not actually. So he thought that he would run away with the dress and show it and at least impress his wife. Every husband wants to impress his wife. But when he boards the bus, he runs away, and on the highway, he just stops the bus and he gets inside. The idea of being king is still in his mind. When the conductor comes, because in the bus also, all the villagers, the ladies, the people, they look at him as decoration, being a king. They, wow, looking so beautiful. He had a handsome personality. So everybody was impressed by his personality, his costume. So he actually thought that he is king. But when the conductor came, hey, ticket, he said, hey, I am king. How dare you ask me the ticket? He gave him one tight slap. He said, get lost. Then he got his senses. This is what happens to most of us. We give so much importance to our little promotions, positions, authorities, powers, little powers we get. That is not even this. We magnify our own powers, our own authorities, our positions. One examination passed and one degree and one promotion, we feel wow, we give parties as if that is the purpose of our human birth. That ego, that arrogance goes into our head. Even the most highly so called educated, I call them, even myself, educated fools. Because even Valmiki called Ravana the greatest scholar ever, Murkhudu, because though he was a Shiva Bhakta, he got all his powers by tapas, by his prayers and tapas to Lord Shiva. But after getting the powers, the power went into his head. Then he would challenge God himself. He got the powers from God, and every Rakshasa does that. They get their powers by doing tapas to God, and then they play God. They think that they are gods. Every political corporator, Even the village sarpanch, once he wins the elections, he feels that he is god of the entire community or the ward or whatever. What to talk about MP, MLA, CM and PM? It goes into their head. One position, one award, gone. That is the nature of our human mind. We overestimate our little things, but the greater blunder, the Himalayan blunder that we do after getting this kick of the power, we underestimate the real power, the real authority, the real cosmic authority. We think that we can do what we want to do. And then we get one slap, if we are fortunate to get it. Then we come to our senses. If we are fortunate to come back to our senses. So Swami said, good people suffer not because of their goodness, but because of their foolishness. I experienced that with Swami. Once it was, I believe, 81, a group of 3 boys came from Ulhasnagar to Puttaparthi. They all were Sai Nilayam boys, regular visitors. And Swami called them for interview. I was Sevadal. So Swami said, not Sevadal, only these. Because I was staying for 3 months. So I was in charge of the Eastern Gate. So Swami picked up these 3 boys. And when I asked Swami, shall I also join them because I'm also from Ulhasnagar? Swami said, no, you are Sevadal. I understood. So when they came out, one of the boys, because they got interview, I got impressed that Swami has given them interview. So this one boy who was first time visitor and who was a very new devotee, so to say, he tried to play little smart, innocently of course. He was a young boy, about 20. He said, Bhaiya, I have this problem. We have a land, very prime location near the railway station, and 6 acres of land. And my father wanted to dispose it off, but we are not getting right person. So I gave that letter to Swami, and Swami has blessed me. Let us see. I said, okay, because I was a civil engineer and a builder, so I said, okay, I will come and see. He showed me the land. I trusted him, and his father gave me a Xerox copy of the land. I trusted them, and we made an agreement in front of 5-10 people, and I gave them big money as a token amount, huge amount, cash. Of course, Swami was witness, and there were other witnesses also. But when I took that Xerox to he said our original is in dispute with the government office, collector office. So our file is there. So I thought, no, that is not an issue. I will get it. So I went to the collector's office and I've tried to find out. They said, no, this land belongs to the government. Nobody owns this land. That was a shock. Then I came back. Then I tried to go up to the Sachivalaya. I had very good contacts up to the chief minister. But what I found, these documents which they gave me were all fake. Now this boy was innocent. He was just 19, 20 years old. So I went to his father and said, no, you have to return the money. They said, but we have spent the money. We showed you the land, and this land is in our possession, and this is the document we have and we gave you. That's it. Now it became a huge problem for me, not because of loss of money, but because of loss of my reputation in my own house. That this boy is not good enough to do any business. He is a simple-minded person. Anybody can bluff around. So this was more challenging for me. Money belonged to father. That point in time, I had not yet earned my money. So it was, but at the same time, it was question of my reputation, my credibility. I had to prove myself. So I found out these people are not as simple as they appear to be. they are related to some, far off related to some very big don in Mumbai, underworld don. So I said, now this is my way of working. I directly go to the person who can, in whose name the mischief is being done. So one day after bhajans at Sai Nilayam, I decided, I came to know that person's, Don's brother has a big showroom in Ulhasnagar also. I directly went to his showroom and I introduced myself. He saw me and said, "Oh, Thakur Sahib, you have come. I have heard your speeches in Samiti. Wonderful." I said, "Now, sir, but that is apart. But this is what is the situation. Somebody claiming to be a relative, and your brother is what he is. So I need to meet him." He said, "Sure." He immediately rang up his brother that this gentleman is coming to you. You leave every other work and you first talk to him. He was his younger brother. So he gave me his driver and car, and we drove to the, what we call Adda, this big club or something. It was there, some big hotel or club where this underworld don was sitting with his people. As soon as I entered, I don't know what happened. I was just 25, 26 years, and he stood up to receive me, and he told everybody to go to other room, and he said, "Yes, Thakur Sahib, what can I do for you?" I told him the entire thing. He said, "Don't worry, they are not our relatives, just our surname is same, they are misusing our name." Immediately he sent these people to call them, and just no arguments. He simply commanded, "You have taken this money from Thakur Sahib?" I said, "Yes." "Okay. Tomorrow by 12 o'clock, you have to return that money. Is it okay with you?" That's it. They said, "Okay, sir, but not 12, it may be little 12:30 or so." "Okay. By 12:30, the money should reach Thakur Sahib's office. You can go now." He said, "Anything else, sir?" I said, "Nothing. I'm very happy." And just I came back and I reported this to my father, to my uncle. They were shocked because they said even the police commissioner, Mumbai police commissioner, Thane police commissioner cannot go to this adda of this don. He is horrible. He is very dangerous person. How could you go? I said, "I don't know what this." I went because Swami is with me, and I directly went and did like this, and tomorrow 12 o'clock I'm getting my money. How I became hero of my family. Everybody was shocked and surprised and so happy. Wow. So we had our dinner and all, and we slept off. Early in the morning, 4 o'clock, Swami appears in my vision, which he does even now. Brahma Muhurtam, he'll wake me up from my sleep for anything if he has to tell. "Money has reached me. It is with me." That's it. Money is with me. It has reached me. First it has reached me, then it is with me, money. So I got up from my sleep because vision was very clear. I woke up my wife and I told her this is the dream. My wife said, "Now this dream is not maybe something else Swami is talking about. Why you are relating this dream with this particular thing? Dreams are after all dreams." I said, "No. If we consider Swami's dreams to be just dreams, then every dream is a dream. Then we cannot be selective on that." When Swami came to me in my first dream and told me to come to Puttaparthi, and he speaks to me every morning, then everything is a dream only. We take everything as real dreams. Swami's dreams are not ordinary dreams. His command in dream is his command. That's it. She also agreed because she is a greater devotee than me, no doubt on that. But she also understood. So I said, now I have to act because these people, they'll be in trouble otherwise they don't bring the money. And Swami has said money has reached him. It is with him. So I got up in the morning, 9 o'clock, I drove to the residence of that Don. His secretary was there, a watchman, somebody was there. I told him, "You tell such and such person that I have come." He said, sir, but he just got up. He has not even must be having some tea or something. I can't go up. I said, you just connect me with intercom and you just tell him my name. That's it. So he connected. He picked up the phone. I took the phone. I said, sorry, brother, I have come to you at this early hour. 9 o'clock was too early for such a person. He said, what happened? It is only 9 o'clock. They will come at 12. Any issues? I said, no, no, no. I have just to inform you to send them the message that money has reached me and money is with me, not to send your people to them just to harass them for anything. He said, what are you talking? Is there any pressure on you? I said, sir, who can give me pressure? You are there means nothing. He was number one don. I said, who can give me pressure? So that is not the question. But money has reached me. He said, really? I said, of course, when I am telling money has reached me, that should be enough. He said, okay, very happy. And I thanked him. Thank you very much. And I got my money back. Straight away, I drove to the boy and his parents. They all were in such distress. The ladies were crying because they were very poor. They had spent all the money for their daughter's marriage. They were collecting the gold given now. Gold given to their daughter cannot be taken back. They was in great dilemma. As soon as I reached, they came and they wanted to. I said, don't worry, don't cry. I got my money back. Be happy. No need to sell any gold or worry about anything. And I have informed that person also. Nobody will come to take any money from you. No pressure on you. Just be happy. I got my money back. Of course, I had to tell them the dream. They were, though new, but they were Sai devotees. So I told them, this is this. And don't thank me. You have to thank Swami. They were so happy, so happy, so happy. Can't describe. And that amount was too big for them. It is a life-saving amount for them and even for me also at that point in time. I just forgot about this. My father, my uncle who were calling me hero till yesterday night, they said, you can't do any business. I said, that Swami will decide. Always keep accounts with God. My Swami is instructed, that's it. My dear brothers and sisters, you will not believe. After that, my father refused to invest anything on my business, and I did not even ask for it. Without taking one penny from my family or my father or anyone, I started my business. In 4 years with Swami's grace, I completed 6 multi-story buildings single-handedly as a proprietor. I forgot about this incident, but when Swami asked me to stay in Puttaparthi, not sell any property, not go back, 30 years I have survived without doing any business, and I have lived as a king. As a king. I travel by planes, I go stay in star hotel, and everything. God has provided me the best of houses in Ulhasnagar, one of the best and biggest house. And Puttaparthi also, he has kept me like a king. And he actually provided me 100 times more what Swami told me that money is with him, it has reached me. 100 times more. I am a Sindhi businessman, I know how to calculate. That too, not once or twice, at least thrice he has sent me the amount through his angels. Not borrowed anything, no, nothing. His grace. When you wait on him, he works on you. And if required, he works for you. The value of my properties, I never depended upon them. I never got interested into anything. They have enhanced more than I can't say. everything purely without any effort from my side. And he has seen to it that I live like a prince in his Satyasai kingdom. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय.